the pain like.
Hey guys, dearyoongi here, and welcome back to my channel. And a very happy new year. I hope 2024 is kind to all of us. At the beginning of last year, I uploaded a video titled 23 K-pop opinions to start 2023. So you guessed it, today's video is going to be 24 K-pop opinions to start 2024. Because I thought it would be fun to keep up this tradition of me kickstarting the year with some random thoughts. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Having Pentagon's Hui compete as a contestant on Boys Planet was just insulting. After he literally helped write and produce Energetic by 101, the first boy group created by Produce 101, as well as a song on Produce X 101. I know the show already feels so long gone now, but it angers me every time I think about it. If they wanted him involved with the show, it should have only been with mentor status because that's what he earned. Cube should be ashamed of themselves. Number 2, one thing I'm obsessed with nowadays is how we get more behind the scenes content from groups in the studio when they're recording their music. I find it so interesting to see them in their element, to see the process. Controversial, some companies may be too afraid to release this sort of content because it's very raw and leaves them open to a lot of critique, but those who are putting this out there I have huge respect for. 3, SHINee are one of the very few K-pop groups I can name where I adore their music as a group, but also each member has a strong enough solo ability or discography. So much so that I could imagine that all of them were successful soloists in another life. I'm not saying I want that, SHINee will always be 5 to me, but I adore their solo work too on an individual level. 4. AI has started to rear its head in K-pop already in some ways, such as aespa's concept, and some groups even having AI members, such as Superkind, Maeve, etc. But if people are worried about those, trust me, I feel like it's only going to get worse as time goes on, and we'll see AI making a lot more of appearances in K-pop. I'm thinking AI concerts, comebacks sung entirely by AI where the artists aren't even there and we won't even know about it. All I'm saying is watch this space. If anybody wants a full video on this topic, please let me know because I have a lot of opinions on AI in media and what it's going to do for K-pop in the future. Number 5. Now that all 4 members of Blackpink have released solos, I can officially confirm that Jennie's solo debut Solo is still my favourite Blackpink member solo project. I just said solo a lot of times. Even though it came out the longest time ago, I think out of all of them it's felt the most actualized to me, like the concept suited her the most, and it's probably got the most longevity, at least that's how I currently feel. We'll see if this still follows in a few years. 6. I was initially worried that Triple S was going to be a cheap attempt by a company to try and recreate the success of NCT's infinite member concept, and that's all it would come across as. But I'm not gonna lie, I've found their releases so far really interesting, and I see a lot of potential to make this something good, but I don't feel like they're being promoted or marketed well enough. They could probably already be a lot bigger than they currently are with the right backing. 7. Quite a while ago now, in a strengths and weaknesses video, I expressed concerns that Big Hit / Hybe were trying to recreate the next BTS with TXT. I want to apologize for that because I was wrong. I actually feel like TXT are bringing something different to the K-pop world at the moment. I love how they're experimenting with concepts even now in their careers, and they are really proving to be the powerhouses in their own right with their endless potential. 8. When people are trying to defend artists lip-syncing at concerts, I hate seeing the argument of the choreographies are hard, because while I can appreciate that playing a part in singing live for 2 hours and how strenuous it can be, it's not an excuse for lip-syncing entire shows. Because back in the day when K-pop wasn't such a saturated market, there were artists doing very difficult choreographies and still singing live. I also hate the argument of I'd rather see an artist lip-sync than sing badly. It's a very avoidist response and doesn't address the real problem here. 9. If you ever get the chance to see Kang Daniel live in concert, go. Please attend. I saw him live in 2023 and I promise you won't regret it. He put on such a performance throughout every track, and in between songs he made such a genuine effort to communicate with the audience. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't exactly a huge stan or anything before I went. We went to the show because he came to our city and tickets were available, but we left the concert huge fans of his. 10. We see some idols getting involved in music production, but how cool would it be to see artists getting involved in the styling aspect of the industry, such as wardrobe and makeup, or even set design? I know some smaller groups have dabbled in this in the past, but I would love to hear it become more of a common thing. I think it would be really fun and add another creative aspect to the genre. 11. Companies are going to keep trying to find either new or more ways to increase K-pop's popularity in the West or around the globe. I feel like this seems to be a goal for a lot of larger companies. The first sign of this was when we started to see English versions of songs, and then when we had the takeoff of TikTok challenges, as soon as companies realized this was an easy way to gain publicity. I believe the most recent attempt we've had at hitting the Western world with K-pop is multiple large companies such as HYBE and JYP trying to create, quote, global K-pop groups, and HYBE saying they want to remove the letter K from K-pop. Don't get me started on that. I am genuinely curious to see what these companies will do next, because every time they keep pushing the envelope further in a way that I did not expect. 12. I don't understand companies who will send their artists to festivals but never let them do world tours. I hate it. I'm thinking, are they just trying to put the feelers out there to see if they're big enough to sell tickets globally, or is it just like laziness? Either way, justice for these artists who have been waiting to meet their overseas fans. 13. One of the most impressive idols in the industry at the moment, or at least a 4th gen in my opinion, is G-idol's Soyeon. She gets a lot of stick for her voice and English song lyrics, but I think she's a very clever artist and people are ignoring that. She's one of very few female producers we have in the industry at the moment, and she knows exactly what her vision is. Her creativity is coming up with imaginative and unique concepts, which is always something I've admired. 14. I don't know if it's just me who feels like this, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, so I will be careful with how I say it, but something about Everglow's comeback Slay just felt off to me. I was so excited to see them back, and I even ended up liking the song eventually, but it was almost as though the vibe just wasn't quite right, or maybe just not the same as it used to be. I don't want to think of it this way, but part of me felt like the company were just giving them a comeback for the sake of an easy money grab, and nobody was really that into it. 15. I very much like and agree with BTS's idea of each having their own Instagram accounts but having the comments switched off. I know most fans will comment supportive things and mean well, but there's also a lot of people who don't and who aren't fans. These types of people would jump at any chance to attack them and spam them with hate, and it's just not worth giving them the opportunity to do so. 16. What happened with 50/50 was probably the worst possible outcome that could have come from their short-term virality. When I uploaded my video about their sudden success and why I was worried for them, so many people called me a hater and said I should just be happy for them because we don't know what's going to happen, but look where we are now. We can only hope that other companies are looking to recreate Cupid's success, but while taking notes from this instance of what not to do and how to protect everybody involved. 17. K-pop stans need to put more respect on Block B and especially Zico's name. I understand and respect that perhaps some people are not happy with him as a person and things that have happened in the past, and I would never tell anybody that they have to like a person or accept their apology, etc. But as a producer, his influence on the industry and a lot of the artists we see today has been absolutely massive, bigger than some of us will be able to acknowledge, and we can't ignore that. 18. I don't know how you say this group's name. I'm sorry. I think it's like Crazy, but with an X. So I'm going to call them Crazy, and I'm really sorry if it's wrong. Please feel free to correct me in the comments. But Crazy having a comeback called Nugudum was such a serve, and it still feels like a fever dream to me. It does scream chronically online a little bit from the company's side, but you know what? Maybe that could be a fun marketing strategy moving forward, especially to connect with more K-pop fans internationally where they have a lot of presence online. 19. I personally feel they might have chosen the wrong song for Up's debut after Queendom Puzzle. I think a lot of us were expecting more of a girl crush concept after what songs and challenges performed well on the show and which members they ultimately chose in the end, whereas their debut song was a bit more of a brighter image, which probably threw people off. I'm not sure if it's just my timeline, but it felt like people stopped talking about this very quickly, and that might be part of the reason why. 20. 17's success story is one of the best that I've had the pleasure to witness. Yes, their label was bought by a bigger one, but they didn't just suddenly catapult to fame from debut. They had a slow and steady rise, getting better and better with each era, and subsequently gaining more and more fans with every comeback, and that has been so amazing to watch. And now seeing that come to full fruition with them winning their day songs, etc., it just feels right. 21. I think we need to normalize companies listening to K-pop fans regarding what they actually want from merchandise, especially as the consumers who have to purchase it. You see fans creating goodies on social media sometimes, and it's miles better than what the companies are actually offering for like tours and concerts and things, or like fan extras. There's some extremely talented K-pop fans out there who could design much more impressive merch. 22. When a survival show debuts a new group, I strongly believe they already know who is going to quote-unquote succeed in the industry after the group's time together expires. I feel like they already have an idea of who's likely to go on and debut in another group, who may go solo, who will go into acting, etc. It might just be me who gets this idea, but I guess it could be all part of the planning they do when they're picking who goes in the group. 23. A study study needs to be conducted into why Wekimeki weren't more successful. I'm sorry, I feel like I say this all the time, but they had two extremely popular members of IOI in the group, reams of talent and consistently good comebacks. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I feel like I already know what the answer is and it's because of their label, but I miss them and it makes me sad that their career never really reached the heights that I really think it could have because of a factor beyond their control. 24. I used to think that Somi was destined to debut in a girl group again, especially after the shows we saw her in and her time with IOI, etc. But now I literally couldn't even imagine that anymore, which is so strange to me. I think her solo career makes a lot of sense for her and her current image suits her. But from where we are right now, I'm not really sure where it will progress in the future, if that makes sense, or how it will continue to develop. Okay guys, and that was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching my first video of 2024 if you got this far. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and I would love to hear your thoughts on these opinions and any of your own you might want to share down in the comments. If you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell to be the first to hear whenever I upload. I currently have 2 polls open where you can vote for the top 100 K-pop boy group songs of 2023 and the top 100 K-pop girl group songs of 2023. I will link the Google Forms in the pinned comment down below, and they're also on my community tab if you'd like to check them out. All you have to do is vote for your favourite songs of the year, and the top 100 with the most votes will make it into videos I will upload on my channel in January, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!